Liam was used to being alone. He worked at a small observatory station deep in the forest, far from the city. His job was to monitor the stars, space signals, and record any strange movement in the night sky. Most nights were quiet. He would sip on his coffee, write notes, and sometimes stare at the stars for hours. But one night was different. It was around 2:47 a.m. when the silence broke. Liam heard a strange sound, a loud whoosh like something tearing through the sky. He stepped outside, his heart beating fast. Above the treetops, a bright object was falling fast. It looked like a meteor glowing red and orange, with a long tail of light behind it. Within seconds, it crashed deep into the woods, shaking the ground slightly. Liam didn't know what to do. At first, he thought about calling someone, but then curiosity got the better of him. He grabbed his flashlight, put on his jacket, and followed the direction of the crash. The forest was dark and quiet, except for the sound of his boots on the ground and the soft crackling of branches. The smell of smoke filled the air as he got closer. Soon he found the crash site, a small crater with steam rising from it. Pieces of glowing metal were scattered around, but what shocked him the most was what lay in the center. It wasn't a rock or machine. It was a woman. She was lying still, her skin pale like snow. Her long silver hair flowed around her, and her body was covered in a strange suit that looked part metal, part cloth. There were symbols glowing faintly on her arms like tattoos, but not human. Her eyes were half open, revealing glowing red pupils. Liam froze. Was she human? Was she alive? He moved closer and knelt beside her. She was breathing, but slowly. Her body was cold, colder than anything he'd ever touched. She looked hurt, maybe from the crash. There were no wounds, but she wasn't moving much. "Can you hear me?" he asked softly. Her eyes flickered. She didn't speak. She just stared. At him, her eyes deep and strange. Then suddenly, she passed out. Liam didn't know why, but something inside him said he couldn't leave her there. He wrapped her in his jacket, careful not to touch the glowing parts of her suit, and somehow carried her back through the woods. It took time and strength, but he made it back to his small cabin near the observatory. He laid her gently on his couch, covered her with a blanket, and watched her sleep. Her breathing became normal again, but she didn't wake up. He tried calling emergency services, but his phone had no signal. The radio wasn't working either. Everything seemed normal before, but now it was like something was blocking all connections. Liam sat beside her the entire night, trying to figure out what just happened. When the morning came, the woman opened her eyes. She sat up slowly, looked around the room, and then her eyes settled on him. She didn't speak. She just watched him. It was quiet for a few seconds before she finally said something. "Where am I?" Her voice was calm, almost musical. Not robotic, but it didn't sound fully human either. "You're safe," Liam said. "You crashed. I found you and brought you here." She looked at her hands, then back at him. "You touched me?" Liam nodded, feeling a little unsure. "Only to help you. You were hurt." She tilted her head slightly. "You are not afraid of me?" He hesitated. "Should I be?" The woman didn't answer. She stood up slowly, her body graceful but strong. She walked to the window, looked outside at the trees, then closed her eyes for a moment. "I need sunlight," she whispered. But she didn't step into it. Instead, she turned away quickly and backed into the shadows. Liam noticed something. She avoided the light completely. The moment sunlight touched her arm, her skin reacted like it burned. Not with fire, but like energy fighting against her. "You're not from here, are you?" Liam asked carefully. She looked at him again, her face calm but unreadable. "No, I'm not." He sat down slowly, trying to understand. What are you, then? She looked down, then spoke. I am Velara. I come from far beyond your stars. I didn't mean to land here. My ship was damaged. I was escaping something. Liam listened without speaking. I didn't expect anyone to find me, she added. But you brought me here. That was not wise. Her words weren't threatening, but something about them made Liam uneasy. I just didn't want you to die, he replied. Velara walked closer and looked him directly in the eyes. You don't understand what you've done. Liam felt a chill go down his spine. But still, he didn't regret helping her. There was something about her. Mysterious, powerful, but also sad. I don't know who you are or where you're from, he said. But if you need help, I'll try. She stared at him for a long time before replying. You may not have a choice anymore. And with that, Velara sat down again, closed her eyes, and didn't speak for the rest of the day. Liam sat near her, unsure of what he had just brought into his life, and even more unsure why he felt he couldn't let her go either. The next morning, Liam woke up feeling unsure. The events of the night before kept replaying in his mind. A strange woman from another world. Velara was now in his cabin. She was not human. She had glowing eyes, avoided sunlight, and had crash-landed in the forest like something out of a science fiction movie. But this wasn't a movie. It was real. She was real. Liam got up and made some tea. He didn't know what aliens drank, but it felt polite to offer her something. When he turned around, Velara was already awake and standing near the window, hiding in the shade. She was staring at the trees. You don't sleep much, do you? Liam asked. She shook her head slowly. Sleep is not needed for my kind. Her voice was calm again, soft, almost peaceful. Yet every word she spoke carried weight. She turned to look at him. Her red eyes were not scary anymore. They were deep, like they had seen many things over many lifetimes. I made tea, Liam said, holding out a cup. She took it, but didn't drink. Instead, she looked at the steam rising from the cup and studied it, as if trying to understand it. Liam sat down across from her. Are you feeling better now? Velara nodded. My energy is slowly restoring. Your world's air is different. But I will adapt. There was a pause. Liam decided to ask the question he'd been holding back. You said I may not have a choice anymore. What did you mean? Velara placed the cup down and looked at him. Seriously. I didn't come here by choice. I was escaping a trap. Someone or something was trying to capture me. I sent out a false signal and crashed here. Your forest was the closest safe point. She walked to the center of the room, never stepping into the sunlight. I was hoping to recover quickly and leave, she continued. But then you found me. You touched me, helped me, and now we are linked. Linked? Liam repeated, confused. My body? My kind? We are not like yours, Velara explained. We survive on energy, not just any energy, but something very rare. I was weak when you found me, close to fading, but your touch gave me strength. Your kindness fed me. Liam looked stunned. You took my energy? Velara nodded slightly. Yes, but not in a harmful way. If I had taken too much, you would not be standing. I only took what was freely given. That is our rule. Liam felt his heartbeat quicken. He remembered feeling tired the past day, like something was draining him, but he had thought it was just stress. I didn't know, he said. I know, Velara replied. But now that the bond is formed, it cannot be undone. I am connected to you, and you are connected to me. Liam rubbed his temples. This is too much. I just wanted to help someone. I didn't ask for any of this. I understand, she said softly. But this is where we are now. There was a long silence between them. The room was quiet except for the sound of birds outside and the ticking of the old wall clock. After a few minutes, Liam stood up and looked at her. "So what now? Are you going to stay here forever?" Valara's face didn't change. "No. I will leave once I'm strong enough. But I cannot go without you." "Not yet." "Why not?" he asked, growing more anxious. "You are my energy source now. Until I recover completely, I must remain close to you." Liam took a deep breath. "So, I'm stuck with you?" She looked at him, and for the first time, there was a slight smile on her face. It was small, but it softened her expression. "Not stuck," she said. "Connected." Liam didn't know what to say. He walked to the door, opened it, and stepped outside. The fresh air helped clear his mind. The forest was quiet, peaceful, and normal. But nothing about his life was normal anymore. He sat on the porch, trying to make sense of it all. Valara came to the doorway, but stayed in the shadows. "You are afraid," she said. "I don't know what I am," Liam replied. "I've never met anyone like you before." She nodded slowly. "Nor have I met someone like you." Liam looked up at her. "Why didn't you just take what you needed and leave?" "Because," Valara said, her voice lowering, "we don't feed without permission. That is part of our code. We do not harm unless harmed." Liam studied her carefully. She wasn't acting like a monster. She was calm, patient, even respectful. He started to believe that maybe she didn't mean any harm. "So what do we do now?" he asked again. "We wait," she replied, "until I am strong. And while we wait, we learn." "Learn what?" "Each other," she said. And just like that, something began to shift between them. It wasn't friendship yet, but it wasn't fear anymore either. It was something in between. Liam still didn't trust her fully, but he didn't feel like she would. Hurt him, not now, maybe not ever. As the day turned into evening, Valara sat on the floor near the bookshelf and began to read one of his old science books. Liam watched her, still unsure if this was all real or just some strange dream. But one thing was clear. His life had changed forever the moment he stepped into those woods, and deep down, a part of him wondered if it was fate that brought her to him. Liam's days were no longer quiet. Since Valara arrived, everything had changed. Each morning, he woke up wondering if this was all real or just some long, strange dream. But there she was, the mysterious alien woman with glowing red eyes, sitting quietly in the corner, reading his books, studying the earth like a visitor in a museum. Valara still avoided sunlight. She stayed in the shadows during the day and only moved freely at night. Liam learned that she didn't eat food. Instead, she sometimes stood still for hours, as if drawing energy from the air. Or maybe from him. At first, Liam felt nervous. He noticed he was more tired lately. Even simple tasks like walking around the cabin or checking the observatory equipment made him feel weak. But Valara never forced anything on him. She kept her distance, always watching him carefully. Always. Making sure he was okay. One evening, as the sun disappeared behind the trees, Liam sat at the table, staring at his half-eaten meal. Valara approached slowly, her silver hair glowing under the moonlight that came through the window. "You are tired," she said. Liam nodded. "Yeah, I can feel it, ever since you got here." Valara lowered her gaze. "It is not my wish to harm you. I am trying to take as little as possible," he sighed. "I know. You've told me that. I believe you. It's just hard to accept that something invisible is happening to me." "I can try to slow the connection," Valara offered, "but the bond is natural now. You gave me energy freely when you helped me. That kindness became a thread between us." Liam leaned back in his chair. "I didn't know kindness had a cost." Valara looked at him for a moment. Then she said something surprising. "You are not like others I have met." Liam raised an eyebrow. "You've met humans before?" "Yes, years ago. Quietly, secretly. We watched from a distance. Most were afraid, aggressive, or selfish. But a few were gentle, curious, brave." She walked over to the window and looked out. "I once walked among humans in a different form. I wanted to understand them. But I was treated like a stranger, a threat, even though I had done nothing wrong." Liam listened silently. "One day," Valara continued, "I passed through a village wearing a human face. I was hungry and weak. A child came up to me and offered me fruit. He smiled even though I looked poor and strange. That smile stayed with me. It reminded me that not all humans are cruel." Liam stared at her, confused. "Why are you telling me this?" Valara turned to face him. "Because I believe you were that child." He blinked. "Me?" She nodded. "It was long ago. You were very young. Maybe you don't remember, but I remember you. Your kindness gave me strength back then, too. That is why I knew I could come here. That is why I came to you." Liam was speechless. His memories of early childhood were blurry, but he did remember giving fruit to a stranger once, a woman who looked lost and tired. He never saw her again, and he had forgotten about it. Until now. Valara stepped closer. "I was drawn to you, not only because of the energy, because of who you are." Liam looked away, unsure of how to feel. A part of him was touched. Another part was scared. "So, what happens next?" he asked. "Do I just keep getting weaker while you get stronger?" "No," she said firmly. "I will not allow that. I am already healing faster than expected. Soon I won't need your energy at all." He nodded slowly. "That's good to hear." Valara sat across from him. "But there is something else you must know." Liam leaned forward. "What is it?" "There are others," she said. "Others like me, but not like me. They don't follow the same code. They take without asking. They feed until nothing is left. I was running from them." Liam's eyes widened. "They followed you here?" "I don't know," she admitted, "but it's possible. And if they come, they will see you as a target." Liam felt a chill run down his back. "Then what are we going to do?" "I can protect you," Valara said. "But only if you stay close." Liam stood up and began pacing. "This is too much. I'm just a normal guy. I work alone in the middle of nowhere. I'm not a fighter. I'm not special." Valara's voice was calm. "But you are special. You are kind, brave. You cared when no one else would. That matters more than weapons or strength." Liam stopped and looked at her. Her words were strange, but they felt true. Outside, the wind blew softly. The forest seemed peaceful, but Liam knew now that the peace was only on the surface. Danger could be coming. He didn't know when or how, but he wasn't alone anymore. That night, Valara sat near the door, keeping watch like a silent guardian. Liam lay on the couch, thinking about everything. About the connection they shared, about the past, about the strangers who might be coming. He didn't know what the future held, but one thing was clear. Valara wouldn't let him go. Not yet, and maybe, just maybe, he didn't want her to. The nights were getting colder. Liam could feel it in his bones, but he didn't mind the cold. What worried him more was the feeling that something was coming. He couldn't explain it. It was like a quiet warning in his chest. Valara didn't say much, but she seemed more alert lately. She would often stare at the sky, her red eyes scanning the darkness. One night, as they sat near the fireplace, Liam noticed she hadn't spoken in hours. She was sitting straight, perfectly still, like a statue. Her silver hair shimmered in the firelight. "Valara," he said gently. "Are you okay?" She nodded once. "I'm listening." "Listening for what?" "For them," she replied, her voice low. "They're searching. I can feel their signals in the air. They're not here yet, but they're close." Liam's stomach tightened. "The others? The ones who take without asking?" "Yes," Valara whispered. "They feed like shadows. Quiet, quick, they leave nothing behind." Liam stood up and began walking around the cabin. "So what do we do? Run? Hide?" Valara shook her head. "They would find us. The bond between us gives off energy. That makes us easier to track, but I have a plan." She stood up and moved to the window. "We can't run, but we can prepare." Liam raised an eyebrow. "Prepare how? I don't have any weapons. I've never fought anyone in my life." "I don't need you to fight," Valara said. "I only need your trust." Liam looked at her. Her face was calm but serious. He nodded. "You have it." That night, Valara asked Liam to help her build something. They took tools from the observatory, wires, metal pieces, old batteries, and strange objects from the crash site. She guided him on how to put everything together. Liam didn't understand most of it, but he followed her instructions. By the time they finished, there was a strange-looking device glowing in the corner of the room. It gave off a soft humming sound. "This will help shield us," Valara explained. "It will hide our signal for a while, like fog hiding a light." Liam felt a small wave of relief. "Will it keep them away?" "For some time," she said, "but not forever." As days passed, Liam noticed Valara growing stronger. She no longer looked pale. Her movements were smoother, more confident. She spoke more, too. She began to ask questions about Earth, about humans, and about emotions. "Why do humans cry when they are sad?" she asked one evening. Liam thought for a moment. "Sometimes feelings get too heavy. Tears help let them out." She nodded slowly. "On my planet, we do not cry, but sometimes I feel pressure in my chest when I think about home." "That's called missing something," Liam said. "You miss your home." Valara looked down. "Yes. But I also feel something else. When I'm near you," Liam's heart skipped. "What do you feel?" She didn't answer right away. Then she whispered, "Peace." Liam smiled slightly. "That's rare these days." But that peace didn't last long. One night, Liam was standing outside, trying to clear his head. The air was colder than usual, and the sky looked strange, like something was pressing down on the earth. Suddenly, the wind stopped. Everything became too quiet. Then he heard it, a soft sound, like whispers floating in the air. He turned around, and in the distance, he saw 3 dark shapes moving between the trees. They didn't walk like humans. They glided. Fast. Silent. He ran back to the cabin and slammed the door shut. "Valara!" he shouted. She was already up, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. "They're here!" Liam's heart pounded. "What do we do?" Valara didn't speak. She walked to the strange device they had built and placed both hands on it. The humming sound grew louder, and a blue light filled the room. Outside, the shadows moved closer. Liam could see them now. Tall figures with long arms, no faces, and glowing blue veins across their dark bodies. They didn't look angry. They looked hungry. Valara turned to Liam. "Stay behind me, no matter what happens." Liam nodded, too scared to speak. The first shadow reached the cabin door and touched it. The wood began to rot under its hand. But before it could enter, Valara raised her arm. A sharp beam of light shot from her palm and hit the creature, sending it flying backward into the trees. Liam's eyes widened. "What was that?" "My true form," Valara said. "I've been hiding it, but not anymore." Two more shadows came at once, crashing through the windows. Glass flew everywhere. Valara stepped in front of Liam and fought them with speed and power he had never seen. Her hands glowed with energy. Each move she made was graceful but strong. She moved like a dancer and a warrior. Liam ducked behind the table, watching in awe. The room shook with every hit. The shadows screamed, not with sound, but with a vibration that made the walls shake. Finally, after a long and terrible silence, it was over. The shadows were gone. Burned into ash, the room was a mess. Smoke and dust filled the air. Valara stood in the middle of the chaos, breathing slowly. Her eyes dimmed, her hands still glowing faintly. Liam stood up carefully. "Are you okay?" She turned and looked at him. "Yes, but more may come." He stepped closer. "Why do they want you so badly?" "Because I left their path," she said. "They feed without care. I chose not to. That made me their enemy." Liam placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone anymore." Valara looked at his hand, then at him. "No," she said softly. "I'm not." And in that moment, something changed between them. It was no longer about survival. It was about trust, about connection, and about something deeper that neither of them could fully explain yet. They had faced the darkness together, and it wasn't over yet. The sun was rising, but Liam didn't feel any warmth. After the night's battle, everything seemed colder, quieter. His small cabin was a mess. Broken glass, scorched walls, and an uneasy silence that filled the space. Valara sat quietly. In a corner, her hands folded, her eyes distant. Liam cleaned his hands on his shirt and walked over to her. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head. "I am fine, stronger than before." Liam sat beside her. That was close, too close. Valara looked at him, and for the first time, there was no mystery in her gaze. She was tired, but also grateful. "You saved me," she said softly. "More than once." Liam smiled, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. "We saved each other." The days that followed were strange. The outside world kept turning, but Liam's life felt like it was stuck in this tiny cabin in the forest with a woman from another planet. He often thought about the past, the moment he found Valara, the way she healed, and how their lives became connected by something deeper than either of them understood. One evening, Valara asked him to sit beside the window. The sky was full of stars, brighter than Liam had ever seen. She spoke slowly, as if choosing her words carefully. "There is something I must tell you," she said. Liam looked at her, waiting. "When I first came here, I thought I could leave quickly." She continued, "But then I remembered you, the kindness you showed me as a child. It was a light in the darkness." She paused. "That light saved me." Liam felt his heart beat faster. "I don't remember much from then, but it sounds like we were meant to meet again." Valara smiled softly. "Perhaps." She looked up at the stars. "There is a choice I must make now." "What choice?" Liam asked. "To stay here on your world, with you, or to return to the stars and face what I left behind?" Liam's mind raced. "If you go, will those creatures come back?" "Yes," she said. "They will never stop hunting me, but if I stay, I can protect you better. And maybe help your world understand more about the universe." Liam took her hand gently. "Whatever you choose, I'll be here. You don't have to be alone." Valara's eyes shimmered with tears, tears that were strange and beautiful. "You gave me hope," she said. "Hope I thought I lost forever." For the first time, Valara seemed truly at peace. The next few weeks passed with a new rhythm. Valara learned more about Earth, about human feelings and life. Liam taught her simple things: how to cook, how to laugh, how to enjoy quiet moments. In return, she shared stories of distant galaxies, of stars dying and being born, of worlds full of wonders beyond imagination. Liam listened with wide eyes, feeling small but connected to something much greater. One night, they stood outside under the vast sky. Valara looked at the stars and then at Liam. "I have made my choice," she said quietly. Liam held his breath. "What is it?" "I will stay," she replied. "Not because I fear the darkness, but because I see a future here. With you. With your world." Liam smiled, feeling joy swell inside him. "Then we face it together." Valara reached out and touched his cheek. Together. From that day, their lives became a new story. One of friendship, trust, and a bond that crossed planets and species. Liam was no longer just a man in the forest. He was part of something greater, a guardian of a secret connection between worlds. And Valara was no longer just an alien running from danger. She was a friend, a protector, and someone who had found a new home. The vampire alien woman wouldn't let him go, because she never wanted to. And he was surprised to find out why. Because of kindness, hope, and a bond that no darkness could break.